Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you and your smiling faces, and I'm so excited about what we're going to learn about together. So I was just thinking about, I must be a little sleepy, excuse me. Hey, what's going on? You're yawning too. Oh, yeah. Oh, have you heard about that? When one person yawns, another person sometimes yawns too. Scientists say that even dogs and some chimpanzees do it too. So while we're sitting around the kitchen table here together, I'd like to do an experiment with you. So I'm going to smile. Let's see if you smile too. What about laughter? I'm going to laugh. And let's see if you laugh too. Did you laugh too? When you see a person laugh or smile or cry, something in your brain responds because you know what it feels like to feel those things too. You know what it feels like to smile or to cry or to be frustrated or scared. That's called empathy. And when we know what it is like to feel something like that, we become more compassionate towards each other. So like for an example, if you're playing in your room and you step on a Lego, now I might not have stepped on that Lego, but I feel your pain because I know what it feels like to have stepped on a Lego, and I know how much that hurts. And so when we can feel that kind of pain with each other, we become more compassionate too. And if my compassion is really strong, then I might volunteer to help you. That's what compassion is. I see your hurt. I feel your hurt. I hurt with you. And then I help to ease your hurt. So in order to show empathy, I have to see you. This is the beginning of compassion. So when we gather around our virtual table today, we can look into each other's eyes and hear each other's voices, and we begin to understand how we all are feeling. But this table can look a lot of different ways. It could be a virtual table that we are all sitting around together, even if you're sitting in your couch or on the floor or on a table. We're all sitting around together learning. It could also be at the table of communion for the Lord's Supper. It could be around a lunch table at school when we get to go back to school together, or wherever people gather together. This is the table where we can learn together, learn about compassion. So today's song that I would like to share with you, it's a gathering song because we know that everybody is invited to God's table of blessing. Everyone is included. So as you listen to this song today and you sing along, let's think about who we would like to include in God's table. So why don't you listen to the song first and then sing along as we keep going.
Come to the table, yes, come to the table. Come to the table and celebrate with us. Come to the table, come to the table. Come to the table and celebrate with us. We are all welcome, yes, we are all welcome, yes, we are all welcome, so celebrate with us. We are all welcome, oh, we are all welcome, yes, we are all welcome, come celebrate with us. Let's have a party, yes, let's have a party. Let's have a party. let's have a party. Let's have a party. Come celebrate with us. We are a family. Yes, we are a family. We are a family. Come celebrate with us. We are a family. Yes, we are a family. Yes, we are a family. Come celebrate with us.
So, today's Bible story, we are going to learn about a family party where everybody was celebrating around a big family table together, just like we've been talking about. But as they were eating and celebrating, there was one family member who wasn't too happy about it. And so we're going to learn about that story. And so as we learn about experiencing compassion with each other, we're going to start with the compassion prayer. So let's put one hand on our head, one hand on our heart, because when we feel compassion, we feel it in our heads, but we also feel it right here in our hearts. So let's pray to God. Welcoming One, your warm, wide arms are always open, drawing us into your heart full of love. Make our arms your own, helping us to see and welcome with compassion all those we meet. Amen. So, I hope you have a wonderful time at VBS, and I will be seeing you in a little bit. Bye-bye.
Jesus told this parable. There once was a man who had 2 sons. The younger brother greedily demanded his inheritance, turned his back on his family, and left them for a faraway country. He wasted all the money he took from the family. Soon, he became needy and hungry, and even became a servant feeding other people's animals. Even though he felt ashamed, he decided to return home, hoping his father might welcome him back. When his father saw him, he was filled with compassion. He ran out to his son and threw his arms around him. He was so happy he was alive. The father got a big dinner together with the best food and drink to give thanks for his son's safe return. Meanwhile, the older brother came in from the fields, tired from working hard all day. When he heard the music and dancing, he became very angry and refused to go in. His father went to the older brother to persuade him to come, but he said, "I've listened to you and worked hard for you all these years, and you've never given me a party. My brother comes home after wasting all his money, and you throw him a huge party." His father said to him, "Son, I love you. You know what is mine is yours. But people matter more than possessions. We thought we lost your brother from our family, but he's home. Come to the table and celebrate with us."
Hello again. So, I hope you enjoyed our Bible story today. And so, as we start to think about what we learned and how we feel about it, I invite you to grab out of your folder a story that looks like this, or a page that looks like this, And it'll say Session 1 up at the top, and it'll say Imagining and Coloring. And the page should look like this at the table, because that is our theme for the day. So I want you to color this picture and cut it out. And as you're coloring and cutting out the picture, we are going to talk about these questions at the top. And so I'm going to read them, and then you can pause them after each question and talk about them with your family or think about them yourself. And so then after you cut out the picture right here, I want you to get some tape and find the red ribbon that you have in your day one bag. And take the ribbon and put a piece of tape on the back of your picture and then tape it to your ribbon. And then tape the ribbon to the wall or something somewhere in your home where you will see it this week. And so every week or every day, every video, we're going to have a page like this with a picture that you're going to color and cut out as we think about the different questions from our Bible story. And then you're going to take that page and you're going to cut it out and put the picture right here. So then at the end of our time together, at the end of all the videos, then you'll have a whole bunch of sheets, a whole bunch of coloring sheets reminding you about what we learned about together. So as you are coloring your picture, I invite you to listen to these questions, and if you'd like, you can pause the video after each question and think about the question and your answers with your family, or just think about it on your own. So I wonder, what did the Father see? Did you see what the Father saw? How about the younger brother? How about the older brother? What feelings did you feel when you heard the story? Who shows compassion and who receives compassion? And so let's imagine together. Do you think the older brother ever came to the party? And if he did, do you think he sat down at any of the tables? Who might he have sat with? Do you think he sat at the table with his dad and brother? If not, when might they have had a meal together again? Who sits with you at your dinner table? And what do you talk about? How do you welcome each other when someone's had a hard day or doesn't want to sit at the table? Thanks for thinking about these questions with me. And as we're thinking about them, remember that there's no really right answers. It's all about what you're wondering about and how you're thinking and feeling.
Hi everyone, welcome to Vacation Bible School. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Laura, and I'm going to be working with you each day on an activity or a game that will relate to the topic that we're studying. And today our lesson was all about compassion. So today we're going to do an activity that relates to compassion. So hopefully you kind of understand what compassion means, but I'm going to go through again the definition to explain it a little bit further. So compassion is all about understanding how other people feel. And a lot of times we can make guesses about how people feel based on their facial expressions, maybe the way that they're talking to us. Also could be their posture and how they're talking, the tone of their voice. A lot of times we can read people's emotions by those different examples, but we don't always get it right. And sometimes we actually need to just ask how people are feeling. And we might even say, is this how you feel? And people really like to know that you care. And it's very nice and kind to ask how other people are feeling as well. So an activity today that you could do with your siblings or your parents or family members is to take turns telling a story. And it could be a story about an experience. And as you're telling the story, when you finish up, then you can ask the other people to guess how you felt during that story, whether you felt scared or you felt happy or excited. It's a good way to kind of practice compassion by asking others how you might feel based on something that you say. Another activity today that you could work on is in your family packet. And in your family packet for session 1, you should find a paper that looks like this. And this paper has 6 different emotions listed. So on here, you're going to see the word sad, you're going to see happy, silly, excited, mad, and also finally scared. So these are all emotions that we can relate to, that we've all experienced. There are 2 things that we can do with these, and what I would suggest first is that you do take some time and color in your different emotions, your different pictures, so that we can play a game. And the first game that we're going to talk about is called Let's Make Faces. Now I have 2 sons, so I actually had 2 packets, and I've already went ahead and cut out all of the emotions and colored them in. So the first game, when we want to play this, it's called Let's Make Faces, is that you're going to take all your cards and pile them up and set them down, and then you're going to take turns picking a card out of the pile, but you don't want to show your neighbor or your friend. So once you pick out the card, then you're going to read it, and you have to act it out and see if the other person can guess how you're feeling. So I'll do a couple with you and see if you can figure it out. My first one. Did you figure it out? This one was sad. Then it would be the next person's turn to draw a card, and then you would have to guess what emotion they had. I'll do one more. My next emotion. Do you know what it is? That one would be mad. So that's the first game. It's pretty easy. You just look at their facial expressions. You could add different gestures if you would like to try to reinforce what emotion you're trying to show. The other game would be if you have a sibling or you have an opportunity to make a photocopy of the 6 emotions, you could make another copy so that you would have a total of 12 cards, and you would have 2 cards for each emotion. So you would have 2 happies and 2 sads. And so if you're able to do that, the next one is a match game. And if you've never played a match game, it's really easy. You lay all your cards out on a table, face down, and then you would take turns with a partner, parent, sibling, and you would draw the card. So if you drew, for example, excited, okay, you would flip it over, leave it flipped over, and then you would also then try to flip another one that would match it. This is my little guy, Ben.
Hi.
So a matching game is another fun way to play with these cards once you get them colored in. So again, our lesson today was about compassion. I wish you luck in trying to practice some of these skills in the future so that you can kind of be aware of how other people are feeling in your life. And remember, we want to understand how other people are feeling. And if they're feeling sad or if they're feeling happy, it's okay to talk to them about that and ask them, is this how you're feeling today? And then you can have a conversation about how they're feeling. Thank you for listening, and I look forward to working with you in session 2. Bye-bye.
There. Welcome to the movement section or yoga section that we will be doing today. So a little bit about yoga before we begin our super exciting practice today. Yoga began as a spiritual practice in ancient India. Do you know where India is? It's pretty far away, but it is a pretty cool place with awesome people. So yoga began in ancient India, and it was all about centering and bringing the mind, the body, and the spirit into oneness with the divine. This meaningful practice has grown globally with people of all faiths and belief systems finding nourishment in different variations, which is a powerful reminder of how we learn from one another. When we say namaste, we connect with siblings all across the world. So when we say namaste, we bring our hands to heart center, namaste, and bow our heads. We'll get to do that later on in our practice. So, are you excited? I'm super excited to start going. So breathing is the heart of yoga, and breath itself is the physical way to receive, when we receive air in and release. As we reflect on the ways compassion makes us release, accept, and welcome, we will focus on breath alongside some basic yoga poses. You might see some of my best friends in the background here. They want to come out and join us and do yoga, and sometimes they do. So, the first thing we're going to do is we are going to sit crisscross applesauce on our, if you have a yoga mat or a towel, or sometimes I just do yoga on whatever floor I'm on. Any of it will work. You can do yoga anywhere. So, sitting crisscross applesauce. Roll your shoulders up a few times. It feels nice and good to roll the shoulders. Maybe roll them forwards. Roll them backwards. And then we'll sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes. We're going to take 3 deep, slow breaths together. Inhale, think I see. Exhale, think and welcome. Inhale, I see. Exhale, I welcome. Inhale, I see. Exhale, I welcome. You did awesome. Our next yoga move is child's pose, which is also called balasana. So in child's pose, we're going to flip on over, and my knees aren't quite together. They're a little bit apart. And then I'm going to sit back close to my heels, stretching my arms out nice and long in front of me. And maybe your forehead can rest on the mat. This is child's pose. Just relax and rest in your child's pose. Child's pose is where we connect with God's creation, the earth. And we also connect to God's spirit within each of us as we bow our heads, bow our bodies, and bow our hearts. From child's pose, we'll just shift on up to come on all fours for tabletop pose. I love tabletop. So my wrist creases are directly beneath my shoulders and my knees are directly beneath my hips. Take a look between your knees. If you see your feet, move them so they disappear. So in tabletop pose, we can think of the table as a place of regrounding. Feel how steady you are. There is room for everybody at God's table. From tabletop, we will tuck our toes under. So my toes were flat. Now I'm tucking my toes under. And I'm going to shift my hips up to the sky and push my hips back. So this is our downward dog pose. So we're going to hold this pose while we breathe in and out, nice and slow. So work on holding this pose. We let ourselves be stretched and prepared to see what is to come. We always need to be ready to listen to God, so we prepare ourselves. From downward dog, we're going to shift our weight forward so we go onto our hands and we are in a plank position, nice and strong here. And then we'll slowly lower down our knees, belly, chest, so we're all the way on the ground. My hands are still connected to the ground. And then we'll inhale, straighten our arms up for downward facing or upward facing dog. And our toes are connected, our legs are connected to the ground. I love this pose. We face the sun and welcome this day for what it holds for us today. And then let's tuck our toes under so we can push up into another downward facing dog. So here's the fun part. From our downward facing dog, we can either take little steps up to our hands to meet in a forward fold, or if you want to, we can jump all the way up, to our hands to meet in our forward fold. And then let's inhale and come up nice and slow. The back comes up. It's wonderful. So we're in a standing position, feeling nice and strong, connected into the ground for our standing position. So we're going to reach the arms up to the sky, coming all the way up, bringing palms together, and exhale, hands to heart center. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today, and I will see you again tomorrow.
Good evening, friends. It's now time for our compassion in action. Tonight, we are going to create a centerpiece. So it's a table decoration, and you want to use it at your next meal together, and it'll stay there as a reminder of how God draws everyone together. So you can find just some simple things in your home. And so what I found was a large glass, and then I've got some colorful straws that will serve as stems. And then I have some pretty coloring pages that I have colored. And I'm going to cut them out, and then we'll attach them to the stems, and it'll make a really, really pretty table decoration. So I hope you're having fun tonight with your tonight, whenever you're doing Vacation Bible School. I really hope that you're having fun with the lessons. And I heard a quote, and this is from Mother Teresa. And some of you may not know who Mother Teresa is, but Mother Teresa was a Catholic nun, and she lived in India. And she is known for her love for those that were poor, and just didn't have a lot in their lives. So she said that sometimes small acts are great love. So I wonder if we can think of other small acts that we can do that can show our love for either our family or a neighbor or a friend. So sometimes small things are like doing things around the house that your mom and dad need to have done, but they haven't asked you. So picking up your room without having to be asked. Or sometimes adults will
go through a drive-through, and if they're in a really giving mood, they may buy somebody's coffee in front of them. I think that's always really nice. Some other small things are if you see somebody at the store that's having problems getting the door open, holding the door for them. That's a really small act that shows great love. Some other things that show great love are include helping with chores around the house. And I just dropped my tape, so if you'll excuse me. Going on a bike ride with a friend is a really nice thing to do as well. That shows that you care about your friend, that you want to spend time with them. So there are all kinds of small things that, even though we think they're small, they may make somebody feel good. And that is great love. So I'm almost finished with my centerpiece. And just kind of wanted to show you what it looks like, kind of as the finished product. So there is my centerpiece. And I hope you like it. And I hope you have a good rest of either the day or the evening. And I will see you next time. Have a great day. Bye.
Hello, everyone. It's so good to see you back. I hope that you had a wonderful time and that you learned a lot. Because, as you know, today we learned about how the beginning of compassion is seeing. And this is one of the most true and honest ways that we can live out God's kindness and how much God loves us. Because when we can really see people, and if they're sad or lonely or happy or joyful or scared or hurt or anything that we may be feeling, when we can see that, then we can begin to feel it with them. And that's our empathy. So I was wondering today about what you thought. And so I wonder if you saw any sadness today. And as we ask these questions together, you can pause this video and talk about them with your family, or just think about them by yourself. So I wonder, did you see any sadness today? Did you see any joy today? Did you see any hurt today? This is the beginning of compassion. Seeing what someone is feeling is the very beginning. And then we use our empathy to feel what they feel. And if our compassion is strong, we offer to help them out. When we see and welcome each other, we make ourselves open to God's spirit of kindness. And so as we sing our song again, Come to the Table Together, let's remember how God welcomes everyone to the table of love and of blessing. And think again about who you would like to include at God's table.
Come to the table, yes, come to the table. Come to the table and celebrate with us. Come to the table, come to the table. Come to the table and celebrate with us. We are all welcome, yes, we are all welcome, yes, we are all welcome, so celebrate with us. We are all welcome, oh, we are all welcome, yes, we are all welcome, come celebrate with us. Let's have a party, yes, let's have a party. Let's have a party, come celebrate with us. Let's have a party, yes, let's have a
Today we saw how when we gather around the table, even a virtual table, like we have right here together, that we can see and feel the emotions of those who are around the table with us. In our Bible story today, we learned about the father who saw and welcomed his younger son. He showed compassion when he saw his son's pain and shame. The father welcomed his son back home with joy. But sometimes we also forget the other part of this story, that the father showed compassion to the other brother, his older son, by seeing his hurt and his frustration. He showed compassion and welcomed his son to the table. The father reminded both brothers that they are loved no matter what, and that without them, their family simply wouldn't be complete. So, we are going to close with the same prayer that we shared today at the very beginning. And so once again, we're going to put one hand on our head and one right here on our heart, because we feel compassion in our heads and we also feel it in our hearts. So let's read the prayer together. Welcoming one, your warm, wide arms are always open, drawing us into your heart full of love. Make our arms your own, helping us to see and welcome with compassion all those we meet. Amen. Thanks for joining us today, friends. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. So with every lesson, I am also going to be reading a book with you all that has to do with our theme for the day. And so this time isn't really a part of the curriculum itself, but I thought that it would be fun to pick a book that has to do with the theme and kind of help us think a little bit more about what the theme is trying to teach us. So today, our book is called Who Counts? 100 Sheep, 10 Coins, and 2 Sons. And so this contains 3 different stories. One about 100 sheep, the second about 10 coins, and the third about 2 sons. And I'm hoping that this one rings a bell. Well, that all 3 of them do, but this especially because we just read about it today in our Bible story. So, our book today is written by Amy Jill Levine and Sandy Sasso. And Amy Jill Levine, she is a professor of the Bible. And Sandy Sasso, you might recognize her name because she is a Jewish rabbi here in Indianapolis. And they're both really cool ladies. But I think it's especially cool because here on the first page, Rabbi Sandy Sasso has written us a little note, and it says, "To Speedway Christian Church, with blessings of shalom, Sandy Sasso." Isn't that neat? They're really cool ladies. So, here's our first story. 100 sheep. 100 sheep. If just a single one were lost, who would notice? Who counted sheep anyway? The man did. The man had a lot of sheep, 100 of them, and he counted them every day. And he kept counting. It took time to count, a long time. Let's see, there we go. There's 20, 30, 40, 50, and on and on. Oh, there he is counting again. Look at all of those numbers. And then he stopped. There were only 99. He must have made a mistake. He had 100 sheep, not 99, so he counted again. Still, there were only 99. One of his sheep was missing. Oh no. He was responsible for all the sheep, all 100 of them. I wonder what happened. Immediately, the man went to look for his lost sheep. He walked and walked, but he saw nothing. He kept walking. He looked to the left. Nothing. He looked to the right. Nothing. He walked and he listened. Still nothing. And then he heard a sound. Bah, bah. What makes that sound? Then he ran towards the sound, and there she was, his lost sheep. He had found her. She was too tired to follow him home, so he lifted her up on his shoulders and he carried her. He was so happy to have all of his sheep together that he invited everyone to celebrate. And some people said, "What's so wonderful? It was only one sheep. You had 99 others." Then the man smiled. "One sheep makes a difference. Without her, something is missing. And now my flock is complete." So this is a story about 10 coins. 10 drachmas, 10 silver coins. Every day the woman would count them. Then one day she counted again and she stopped. She couldn't have made a mistake, but she counted them again anyway. Still, she counted only 9. 1 drachma was missing. She had lost one of her coins. The woman lit a lamp to see more clearly. She looked under chairs and in corners. No coin. She looked in cabinets and in wastebaskets. Still, no drachma. She took a broom and swept the floor. There were crumbs and dust, but no coin. Ugh, it was all her fault. Oh, almost missed a page. She had lost the coin, and now she must find it. She searched again with the light and the broom. Finally, she saw something shiny and heard a ping. She looked down, and there it was, the missing coin. She held the coin in her hand for a few moments, and then she carefully placed it with the other drachmas. She was so happy to have all the coins that she invited all of the women in the town to celebrate. Some people said, "What's so important? It was only 1 coin." And the woman smiled. Just 1 coin matters. Without it, something is missing. And now, my coin collection is complete. Two sons. A father had 2 sons. Easier to count than 10. Much easier than 100. One day the younger son wanted half of his father's money. It would be his eventually, but he could not wait. He was restless and he wanted to travel. So the father divided his wealth in half and gave half to his younger son and half to his older son. The younger son went to a foreign land. There, he had a great time, doing whatever he wanted. Look, it looks like he has new clothes and he's holding bags with new stuff that he bought. But before long, he had spent all of the money and had none left, not even enough to pay for food. There was no one to share even a crumb of bread with him, as there was very little food left in the land. See, it looks like maybe he's at a grocery store. There's not very much food left on the shelves. Then the son went to work for a farmer to try to earn enough to buy something to eat. The father told him to go and feed the pigs. Even the pods that the pigs ate looked good. Finally, the son was so hungry and tired that he decided to return to his father. But he wasn't sure what he could say. How could he tell his father that he had spent all of the money? His good pants were torn. His shirt was stained. His fancy shoes had holes. He thought, I will tell my father that I made a big mistake. I will say that I am sorry. I will offer to work hard to earn money. The young son returned home. His hair was uncombed, his face was dirty, and his hands were covered in blisters. His father ran to greet him. He was so happy to see him that he did not care about anything else. Instead of making his son earn money for clothing and food, he gave him a new coat, new shoes, and even a new ring. And then he invited everyone to his home to celebrate. Look, he's ringing a bell and running through town, it looks like, inviting everyone to celebrate. The older son was still working in the field when he heard the happy sounds of singing and laughter and smelled sweet spices coming from his home. He wondered what was happening. He stopped one of the neighbors who was heading to his house and asked, "What's going on?" The neighbor was surprised by the question. "Don't you know that your father is making a big party for your brother to mark his return?" The older brother did not know. When the father counted everyone who had come to the party, he realized that one person was missing. That person was his older son. He had forgotten to invite him. Oh no. He ran out of his house to find his son. When the older son saw his father coming toward him, he turned away. He was sad and angry that no one had come to find him. His father spoke softly. "Your brother has come home. I invited all of our friends to celebrate with us. You must come and be glad with us." He tried to hug his son, but his son folded his arms across his chest. The older son finally said to his father, "I have been with you all the years that my brother has been away. I did not waste your money. I did everything you wanted me to do. I never left you, but my brother did. Then you make a big party for him. You never had one for me. You didn't even invite me to his." And the father thought, "I have 2 sons. 1, 2. I paid attention to my younger son, but I discounted my older son. I didn't realize that he had felt lost." The father took his older son's hands in his own. "Please, come and join the party. I love you. All that I have is yours. Come and be with me and with your brother." "I have 2 sons." He counted 1, and he pointed to the house where his young son was celebrating. And he counted 2, and he put his arms around his older son. "Without you," he said, "something is missing, and with you, our family is complete." And so there's our story. I hope you liked it.
Come to the table, yes, come to the table. Come to the table and celebrate with us. Come to the table, come to the table. Come to the table and celebrate with us.